was going to start this live stream as soon as I was going to get back to the house and I was going to go straight to doing the live stream. It was time to put the chickens up, but look at these fools. They are ready to be tucked in already. And I was going to show them because it's so sweet. And I was going to talk about I just remembered I didn't have the chat on, but that's okay. Because I was going to say how sweet these roosters are and how much they protect these hens. And it is the sweetest thing. But everybody just stay tuned for just a minute, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to close the gate so that predators aren't as easily able to get in. But look at them. That's the rooster right there. I don't know if anybody's keeping up with my channel, but if you are, ergo keeping up with the chickens, you will know that they are growing so much and their looks change so much. Look, this is one of the roosters right here. See him? Right there. Boom. That one. He ducked his head down. Otis Brown. Look up, Otis Brown. Okay, he's being shy. And Otis Brown, if you're on the live stream, what up? Otis Brown, the person, not the chicken. And I don't know what this little fella's name is. But anyway, okay. So with that being said, they are ready to go tonight. I keep saying I'm their tent mom. I came home from work today and I was like, hello, tent. I was like, first I said, Mama's home. I said, Mama's home. Then I said, well, tent mom. Look, I'm just doing this. I'm just kind of showing you guys what I'm doing, just in case you need to know. I said, tent mom's home. Okay, good night, little chickies. Everybody tell the chickies good night. Good night, little chickies. Little guys and gals. They're so sweet. I really am just like loving them. And I'm sweating because I just got through riding the bike, and also because I'm wearing a sweater and it's like freaking hot outside. Yes, I still have an abscessed tooth. Yes, it's still huge. Yes, I'm sweating. Yes, I'm not prepared for this, but I wanted to do it outside because look behind me. Like, really. Look at how beautiful the sunset is. Just get a full, yeah, I just think it's beautiful. I just went to Walmart and, that's why the bike's still over here. I look like an old man wearing a Hanes undershirt. Probably because it is probably, but I'm not. I'm a young lady. All right, look, this bike is the coolest because I knew that it had a basket on it, but I didn't know that it had, boom, let me flip it around, also a cup holder. So look at that. So I've got my little purse, my little Walmart bag, my little AA book in there, which I should have brought the 12 and 12 because I forget that every time, but that's okay. Okay, so we're gonna go over here, tell the chickies good night. Hey, one viewer, I have no idea who you are. Just kidding, I know it's you. Okay, everybody, hold on. I know it's a bumpy ride. It is. That's life. That's life. It's a bumpy ride. Life is a bumpy ride. Am I right? Okay. So, let's see. Where do I want to sit down? I just want to sit down for a minute and talk about a few things because I've been having revelation. Look at how beautiful this is behind me. Okay. So, I've been having revelation. This is what I need to decide what I want out, like what I want to do with my YouTube channel, because I had this constant I need to do something. Well, rule number one with my YouTube channel has been, for me, for day one, my rule has always been it doesn't need to be anything. This is not an obligation. This is not it's not something that, it's just that. It's not an obligation. It's something that I do because I enjoy it. And ultimately, at the end of the day, it's for me. It's for my recovery. It's for God and His glory. And I hope that, the things that I do on this channel would do that, aid in His glory and my recovery. So I wanted to kind of, hone in on that because I have in the last, here recently, I have been going back and forth between this, you know, like this battle in my mind of, oh my gosh, I really am like every human. I'm just like a creature of habit. And I just see all the similar, or like the things that I'm doing now that are literally like deja vu. Like, I went through recovery before I got sober. I went to sober living. I worked the steps. I got a real job. I tried to be a responsible adult. And then boom, obviously it did not go like that, you know, forever. Hence, here we are back, you know, basically at square one, pretty much. But so I go back and forth between, if I'm doing all the exact same things that I did before, that's not good. Like, that makes me nervous because I don't see how I can mess up right now, but I did. So, you know, but then I go, but no, but it's not the same. Like, it's not the same. And I'll tell you like how much, what I mean by that, like literally looking at the sunset today. Like, I went to a meeting today. So I had work today. Then I went to a book study at 6 o'clock, an AA meeting right down the road. So I rode the bike. And when I got done with the meeting, I went to Walmart to get some yogurt because I'm taking antibiotics for my mouth or for my tooth. So I was like, gonna get some antibiotics to counteract the probiotics to counteract the antibiotics, because apparently you have good and bad bacteria in your gut. It sounds really gross. I mean, it probably is, but so when you take antibiotics, it kills the good bacteria too in your stomach, which helps with food digestion and things like that. So you have to eat, you know, either foods that are rich in probiotics, like yogurt, I guess, and then also, or like take a probiotic supplement. But I was in a hurry, so I didn't want to. I was trying to Google like what are the best. So if you know what supplement is best to take when you're on antibiotics, leave it in the comments. And also, if you haven't liked the channel and subscribed, do that as well. If you like antibiotics, if you've ever had a abscessed tooth, click the like button and subscribe and click the bell so you never miss another notification, whatever. But so I was going to Walmart and I see this, I see the sunset and you know, like up there, you know, like I see like God, you know, doing what he does, like in all his glory. And I'm like, wow, I just have to stop and like just take this in because it's so beautiful. And I'm like, hurry. So I'm in Walmart, like going as quick as I can because I'm trying to. I was like, I'm gonna hurry up and I'm gonna come outside and I'm gonna like. I was like, I need to do a live stream, but there I go again with like the need to. I'm like, no, I don't need to do anything. I need to find I was like, if I need to do anything, it's find a direction for my channel and not just aimlessly do what I'm doing right now. But what I really wanted to do is like go somewhere and take pictures of the sunset. And then I was like, oh my gosh, I did this before when I was sober in 2020. And then I was like, that's crazy. Like, I've always enjoyed sunsets. I've always marveled at, you know, God's creation and nature and sunsets and sunrises and, you know, just Mother Nature and God's canvas and all the beautiful things that he does with, you know, with it. So I did that when I was sober. I did that when I was not. I did that when my life was in shambles. I did that when my life was somewhat together. So I cannot start to have this mindset of, oh my gosh, what if, because the fact is, number one, as you probably know, and if you are in sobriety, you know, if you are in recovery, you know, it's literally one day at a time. So literally one sunrise and one sunset, whether or not I choose to appreciate them, watch them, take them in, take pictures of them, you know, or whether or not I'm even, you know, maybe I'm not even consciously aware that it's happening, but I know that, you know, it's gonna, without fail, well, you know, God willing, it's gonna be one sunrise and one sunset, and that's all I have to do. Like, all I have to do is stay sober for that, you know? So if I want to take a picture of a sunrise, if I want to take a video, if I want to do a live stream, if I want to do a live stream and have the sunset in the background, if I want to, you know, do the things that I did in 2020, if I don't want to, if I, you know, that's not going to dictate whether or not I fail or I mess up or I relapse or I, you know, make a mistake or whatever. Like, And also, like, I'm gonna make mistakes because I'm human, you know? But no part of me wants to be the person that I was when I was using drugs or drinking or, you know, living my life that way. And that's the difference. You know, I don't remember that from 2020. I don't remember feeling so close to God that, like, and you know, come to think of it, and I'm just rambling here, but it's okay, it's fine. Come to think of it, taking pictures of like the sunsets in 2020, I'm not sure that I did stop to be grateful to God. You know, I'm not sure that it was in His glory or in His honor or to, you know, capture the breathtaking, like, you know, just beauty that is God and the amazing things that He does. I know I'm not much with the words right now, but because that's how I feel about God, you know, speechless, so kind of. I don't know that I felt like that in 2020, but I know that I do today. And I know that that's going to be the difference. I know that it's not about just staying sober today. It's about walking with God closer today than I did yesterday. And continuing to learn what, you know, His will is for my life, you know, because I was thinking about it. I was like, you know, when I think about this channel, I immediately go into like what I was saying earlier, like obligation mode, you know, like need mode, like I need to do this, I need to do that. I'm not even there yet. Like, I'm not to the point that I should be even thinking I need to help somebody else. Like, I need to go do a live stream because I need to help anybody else. I need to do a live stream because it's doing things like this. You know, that's what's good for me. And if it can help somebody else in the process, even better. And this is the last thing. I'm gonna make this like a quick one. I guess I'll probably just like kind of do they like they did back in the day and like just let the sun dictate, you know, like just let it kind of like be my clock, you know, as far as like it's behind me and I'll know like when it's time to wrap it up, because I don't know. I'm just in a really good mood right now. I'm just really happy and like overflowing with joy and gratitude and optimism, you know, for the future. But one thing I was thinking about is, you know, I have this constant nagging that I do to myself of like, you need to be consistent. You need to find a direction for your channel. You need to blah, 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 blah. Consistency. You're not consistent. And I realized like on the bike ride home, and I just had a moment of like, I realized this. I've consistently stayed sober every day for over 3 months now. And I've consistently made my bed every day for over 3 months now. On June 7th, I'll have, you know, will be 4 months. Not that it's like that, you know, I mean, it is a big deal, but not that is significant, other than the fact that I'm saying like for 3.5 roughly months, I've done that consistently every day. So, I mean, that's something, you know, that's something. And I need to just back off from me. This is like a bitch says, excuse my language, like for myself, you know, I'm like, Lindsay, back off. Because I really have so much to be grateful for. And I really, you know, and I'm going to switch gears real quick. Something weird happened today at work. Because like I said, I've been in the best mood. I've been just I feel so like such a burden continues to be lifted off of me as God just continues to like work on my heart and work on my life and cleanse me from the inside out, and like, you know, my mind is just getting clearer and clearer every day, and it's such a beautiful thing, and I'm so grateful for it. And bear with me because I know I'm kind of like jumping all over the place a little bit, but I'm trying to elaborate this the best way I can, because I feel like this is like maybe a point that's worth making or trying to make. I never really understood the thing that, and I don't remember the exact quote from the Bible, but you know, there's definitely a quote or in a verse to go with it that says like, God will not give you more than you can bear. I think in like the scripture, it's more of like a God does not tempt you at all, but he will not allow you to be tempted more than you can bear, or he won't let you, allow you to like, you won't be given too much more than you can handle, obviously I'm like paraphrasing here, and I can't, I'm not trying, I mean, I'm saying I never really understood what that meant anyway, so I'm not going to try to explain it to you, because it never really made sense to me. I'm like, I mean, we only bear what we can, because like if we, like, for one thing, like if you're, whatever you've done besides lean on God to cope with the things that you couldn't handle, that you couldn't handle it, the thing is with God, there's always a way out. So I say that as like a preface to this. God has not, God has taken part of my life and my emotion and my, like, what am I trying to say? The things that I can't think about right now because they hurt too bad, God has allowed those things to kind of just like not exist. So, I want to say this in a way that's like I want to like say it just flat out, but it sounds really bad, so I don't want to just come right out and say it, but I feel like for like time purpose, and also like for just like in general, like it would be better for me to just say it, but it was just really weird that it happened today. So my kids and my dogs, not the same, clearly. I used to be very, very adamant about not loving my dogs in a way that would, in any capacity, like, they're not my kids. I don't want to give them that love that is allotted for my children, that I'm not able to give to them, because obviously they're not in my life, or if it's not obvious to you, now it is. I don't have that relationship with them. So having a son and a daughter and having a boy and a girl dog, I was very adamant about, I don't want to have any of that love that's allotted for my children to be in any way like given to my dogs, because they're not my kids, But then I realized maybe I'm looking at that wrong. Maybe it's not that at all. Maybe God has given me Roscoe and Lucy as a way to, because if love is something that, it, the more you love, the more love you make, it's like, it would make sense for me to continually pour that love out to them, instead of just pretending like, oh, my kids, I mean, like, I'm just not going to love, what I'm saying? Like, I don't know if that makes sense at all, but like, I thought, well, maybe I'm looking at this all the wrong way. Maybe God's allowing me to put that love into my dogs, because obviously I know that they're not my kids, And my ex-husband used to always say that the kids get so jealous of the dogs. I'm like, the kids don't ever have to worry about mom dying from a broken heart because she has the dogs. Because had it not been for the dogs, mom would have probably died of a broken heart. Because whether or not I was at fault or not, it doesn't matter when you take a mother's children from her, and they're not my possession, but they are my heart. I say that, every time I make it a point to say, my kids were not taken from me because they're not my possession. They're human beings. And I think that unfortunately, oftentimes, especially with custody battles and things like this, when there's other people that, are involved in that, it tends to be a matter of, like tug of war rather than, hey, these are human beings. So whether or not I was completely or however much at fault I was for my kids not being with me anymore, regardless of that, the fact is it was like my heart got ripped out of my chest and taken to, 3 exits down on the interstate. So I thought maybe it's good for me to love, something when I can't love them. Not that I don't love them, but actively. Love is a verb, not love as I'm using love as a verb, not a noun in this context. So anyway, okay, so let me just do this real quick. So stick a pin in that, and then I'm going to explain like where I'm going with this. So today I did something like out of habit that I've always done with the dogs, and that's I act like I can't leave them alone for like more than 5 minutes because they're gonna have like abandonment issues, and I can't, like, they need me. Like, I act like, you know, they need emotional support, like they need food and water, like they're gonna die if I'm not with them all the time. And that's probably a direct you know, reflection of my inner wounds that I experienced as a child. You know, like, I never went hungry as a child, but I definitely was, you know, felt alone and never wanted my children, ironically, or my dogs to feel that way. So I had this incessant, like, you know, like, I would like, say I had to run an errand, and then I got home and I had to like put the groceries up, and I had to pee really bad. Like, I would be like thinking it over in my head, like, I'm like, no, like, I have to just hurry up and let the dogs out, or like I have to go home. You know what I mean? I was just always worried about them being alone for any amount of time longer than they had to. And so today, when I was thinking about I got off work at 4, and I was thinking about going to that meeting at 6, and I was thinking, like, well, I could go to Walmart and pick up my prescription and then kind of like just hang out for a little while. And I was like, out of habit, I thought about the dogs. Okay. Now, mind you, this is at work when I'm usually so busy, I don't have time to think about anything other than work, which is a blessing. But this was just one of those, you know, rare, few and far between moments where I had a second to like think about life in this, you know, particular situation, you know, instance. I was thinking about my plans after work, and I, out of habit, like I said, I thought about the dogs. And I thought, well, no, I have to go home as soon as I get off work, you know, because they're going to be there by themselves. And when I thought about that, I mean, obviously, it only took me half a second to remember that the dogs aren't living with me because I'm in sober living and they're at home with Annie. But even when that, you know, like when reality immediately kicked in, I still felt this overwhelming sense of dread or pain or sadness or just wave of just negative emotion just flooded over me. And I was like, I was washing my hands and I was like, well, that's weird. Why would I feel like that? Like, why am I so worried about the dogs when, number one, like, they're not living with me right now anyway. Obviously, that was just like a glitch in my brain, you know. But then I realized God's preparing me for, you know, it's time. He's gonna, like, if he had temporarily held back those emotions that were allotted for the pain and guilt and every other hurtful, negative, gut-wrenching emotion that I associate with my children and the lack of their existence in my life. If he were to be holding all those back right now, which he is, I feel like he's kind of giving me a little nudge to let me know, like, hey, you're about to have to start feeling those. Because if you don't feel them, you're never going to do what you need to do. You're never going to picture a life where they're not, you know, present. Because, you know, there was a long period of time, whether I wanted to admit it or not, you know, it was like, I did what I had to do to cope with the pain that came from not having my kids. There's a lot of uncertainty that I have that's mixed in with that, as far as me doing the things that I did, how much of it caused me not having my kids in my life, or how much of it was me, it wouldn't have made a difference, so I was just coping. I mean, at this point, it really doesn't matter. I'm here now. I am where I am in life, and the situation is what it is regardless. And the fact is, today, as of now, there's no way that I'm going to miss my kids so much and hurt so bad that I feel like I have to pick up drugs or alcohol or any other harmful, you know, coping mechanism that's going to self-destruct, you know, or like just kind of, you know, like, that's not going to happen. So I can't just stay here forever. I can't just sit here and work my little part-time job and stay in sober living forever. I mean, it's what I need to be doing right now. But as I'm getting my feet steady, you know, as I'm slowly, gradually getting back on track, I think that it's crucial and inevitable for me to also be slowly, gradually reminding myself or allowing myself to remember, think about, picture, you know, a future, like picture the kids, think about the kids, talk about the kids, think about a future that involves them. And, you know, I think that the more that becomes a reality, or the closer I get to that becoming a reality, the further away I'll get from the pain of not being with them. You know, I mean, I won't have to hurt from not being a part of their lives once I'm back in their lives. So in order to get there, I've got to get to a point where I know that when I'm ready, they will be too. I know that. I trust God completely, 100% when it comes to that. I don't think God's telling me, you stay sober, you'll get your kids back, quote unquote, tomorrow. No. I don't think that. I think that God can move, make things happen really, really quickly. But I don't think that that's necessary right now. I don't think that that's the way things are going to happen, because God's timing is usually pretty, you know, he usually doesn't do things like, I don't know. I'm not God, he is. But I trust him. I trust him that the damage that's been done, because of, you know, everything that's happened over the past several years, I don't think it's going to be irreparable. I don't think that my kids are going to go through, I don't think that they're going to carry the same burdens or, you know, I don't think that they're going to have to face the things that I did. I don't think that they are going to have to experience the wrath of this, like, you know, perpetual, like, cycle of addiction and, you know, emotional disorders and mental illness and, you know, like, just all that. I don't think that they're going to have to go through that. And if they do, then I really, really have to be in a place in my life where I'm able to be there for them, you know. I see some tendencies that, you know, like there was something the other day that I thought, because I always think about Briley as not being much like me and Jackson being, you know, like, you know, just as far as like who kind of took after who, you know, I feel like she kind of takes more after her dad and he kind of takes more after me. But there was something that I was thinking about and I went, oh, you know, that's a characteristic that's very, very prevalent in her. And I thought, man, if she was in my life, if I was in her life, I would be able to tell her, hey, I'm not saying that you're going to battle these things like I did, but you could, because this is how I was when I was a little girl, or this is how I am now, and these are the struggles that I faced and maybe not overcame, or maybe have, or are currently battling, or you know, whatever. Maybe you can learn from that and not have to go through it as well, you know. But again, I don't think that God is going to allow them to suffer more. I don't think they're going to have to suffer for, you know, their mother and father's shortcomings, you know. But I'm going to, you know, come full circle. Really, as you can see, you know, I'm things are kind of weighing on me a little bit right now. But as you can see also, the sun is literally about to set, which means I've done what I needed to do for the day. You know, I've tucked the chickens in. I'm not saying, you know, anything can happen between now. I mean, I got to go from outside this sober living house to inside. I don't think that I'm in any imminent danger of, like, you know, relapsing, but, you know, never say never. You know, they say, like, in recovery, you don't want to say you got this, because that's when people mess up. So, but I'm pretty sure I'm good for the day. I'm pretty sure I'm going to make it through the day sober. And that's all I have to do, you know. And anything else that I've done throughout the day, anything else, any smile that I've given to a person that brightened their day, because I do get that a lot, and that makes me happy. And that's very reassuring, because it, you know, when I feel like I'm not doing enough to contribute to the better of the world, or God's glory, or his will for my life, or how he's going to use me to do anything, you know, in the world. Like, I mean, I get so bogged down with it. I'm like, I'm not doing anything. I'm not doing enough. Like, I want God to use me. And I mean, even a smile, you know, is a lot, especially when you look around and there's not a lot of people, you know, a lot of people don't have anything, or they don't think they have anything to smile about, or even if they do, they're not smiling. So, if there's, I mean, by the way, the people that are on here, thank you. I'm sorry I didn't leave the comments on. The reason I didn't is because I knew I was going to be all over the place anyway. And I knew that I just had some stuff that I needed to get off my chest. But I do want to say thank you. I'm not going to apologize anymore for not being consistent, because like I said, right now I'm working on being consistent, just, you know, in my day-to-day life. Like, just my main two things it's making my bed and staying sober. That's what I'm doing consistently every day. And you guys just pray that I continue to do that. And then, you know, every time I check in, every time I do the live streams, between now and the time that I get more of a direction for my channel, which I hope and pray that I do. But in the meantime, you're going to see me pop on here, and it's going to let you know, hey, you know, I'm here for you. You're here for me. I'm still sober. You know, if you don't see me for a while, you know, no, I'm just kidding. But really though, I do appreciate the support. I do appreciate the people that always log on here and make it a point to show their support. And, you know, if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do so. If you have anything that you need to tell me or say, or any suggestions or anything at all, leave it in the comments. And just keep praying that, you know, that I'm able to really, you know, well, I think everything's going to play out the way it needs to. I mean, I think that this channel is going to be a direct reflection of me and my progress and my life, as I navigate through recovery and just life in general. You know, I think that things are going to just kind of evolve with the channel as well. And I think right now I'm just really weighing on I think I'm really just stressing for no reason. I think that there's a fine line between getting things off my chest, and now I'm just being like a worrywart and just like kind of just basking in this, you know, weird, like, rambling anxiously thing that I'm doing. So with that, I think I'm gonna bounce. Oh, okay, I'm gonna leave y'all with this note. Tell me if anybody thinks this is hilarious. I thought it was hilarious. So at work, we had this big sugar bin. Like, it's a big sugar bin, and it's got wheels on it. And this girl was pushing it, and she was like leaned over, like, cause it's really big, and she was like pushing it through the kitchen. And somebody goes, "Wow, girl, you're wheeling that sugar bin like you're about to mow somebody down with it or something. You know, like you look like you're about to run somebody over with it." And I said, "Well, tell me if that is what you call, like, killing them with kindness, you know, running over somebody with sugar." Like, it's like, you know, being really sweet, but being like, and I just thought it was the funniest thing. And I was like, you know, a good, like a real comedian, or when somebody's really funny, they don't have to, like, drag laughter out of people, you know, but I feel like I do, because I'm like, well, this is a tough crowd, you know. I was like, guys, did you hear what I just said? Did you hear what I just said? That was a good one, right? I was like, that joke, ladies and gentlemen, had depth to it. But anyway, but don't kill them with kindness. Don't kill them at all. Just give them kindness. Just remember, when you start to judge someone harshly, or judge them at all in a negative way, or have impatience or intolerance with another human being or with yourself, just remember Jesus Christ died on the cross for that person. Jesus Christ, oh my God, I can't tell. Jesus Christ literally laid his life down for that human being. So the least we can do is give them a little grace. If he was able to sacrifice his life and die in a very excruciatingly painful way for that person, for you and I, the least we can do is give them a little patience and tolerance, and I'm not saying that I succeed at that all the time, but I do try. When I start to look at people with like, really, like, are they serious? I'm like, you know what? They are serious. And he seriously died for them and me and you, and praise God for that. I'm so glad that we have a Savior, Jesus Christ, that was willing to do what no other God did. I don't, that I'm aware of. I don't know of any other religion or God that was willing to come down here with us, despicable humans and live amongst us and then die for us. I mean, that's a beautiful thing, and praise God for that. So, okay. The sun is going down. You guys can see that. Thank you for watching my channel. Thank you for tuning in. I will see you guys soon. Like, comment, subscribe, pray. Have a good night. Thanks. Bye.